Hello, Meoni here. Welcome back to another video. Today I want to share 10 of my favorite unlockable hairstyles in Final Fantasy XIV and where you can get them. Obviously, these are just 10 of my favorites. There are a lot of really good hairstyles in the game, and the majority of these will work multi-gender. Some of them still need to be unlocked across all races and genders. This is something that will probably happen in the future, but this is just 10 of the ones that I like in no particular order that I've definitely found the most use out of for my female Mikote character over the past few years, and where to get them basically. So first of all, let's start with the bold and the braid. This is a hairstyle that I really loved. This is from a Lower Isle, a previously added variant mode dungeon. You can actually get this from Trisant in Old Charlian. If you go and do the variant mode and get 6 Lower potsherds, you can exchange for the bold and the braid hairstyle. And the reason I like this then, it's a clean hairstyle, it's quite well structured, and the braid detail on one side of your head adds just enough flair without overpowering the look. It's a great reward if you've been running the island content, and I really hope they add another hairstyle in the next variant mode that's coming in 7.45, which should be just around the corner as we enter into March. And that will be the Merchant's Tale, so I hope there's a hairstyle from there. This one's pretty good. I like the length of it. It might not be everyone's cup of tea. Some people really don't like the braids on the side. I think they're well done, and some of the better looking braids in the game. Moving on then to our number 9 slot, we've got Tale of the Teller. This is actually something that was recently added as part of a collaboration on the Final Fantasy XIV online store, and this collaboration was with Neo Dimension Fantasian, a fantastic game I highly recommend people go and play if you've not, made by the famous Hironobu Sakaguchi of Final Fantasy fame. And yeah, it's a pretty good hairstyle, quite honestly, reminiscent of the character that wears it in Neo Dimension Fantasian. And of course, this is an online store hairstyle, which of course does mean it's not available in the game, but it is a nice hairstyle regardless. I've been wearing this recently quite a bit. It's a fairly short hairstyle. It's got some length to it, but it's also sort of put up in a bob at the back there with a ponytail. It's quite nice, honestly. If we're not going to be able to have really long hairstyles, then at least we can have something quite stylish. It's one of the shorter hairstyles in the game that I actually like on my character. A lot of the time I sort of tend to go for the longer hairstyles. It's got a slightly asymmetrical storyteller aesthetic. It's subtle, but it's full of personality, and the highlight options are really nice on this as well. Very cool stuff. Moving outside of that then, back into the game, we've got a 1/2x2. This was my favorite hairstyle for a very long time. You can get this from Uashepia in Solution 9, so it's a Dawntrail added hairstyle. You can get this for 49 Cloud Dark Demi Materia 2s, which you can get from clearing the Chaotic Cloud of Darkness fight, or actually as a direct drop from the Chaotic Cloud of Darkness fight. Cloud of Darkness Chaotic was honestly one of my favorite times in the game. A couple of Christmases ago, we had this as a Christmas present on the 24th of December, which was not the best timing for the content. It is progressively difficult to get a group for this, although there are discords that specialize in this, so you can shop around on whatever data center you're on, but it is definitely worth getting in my opinion. It's got these beautiful flowers in the hair, which unfortunately you can't take off, but the hair itself is quite nice. It's long, but it has nice bangs either side of the head and a beautiful fringe, and it's kind of like an advancement of one of the older hairstyles that is default on a character. It looks really good on a variety of different races and genders in my opinion. And it's a fun variation on a half-up style and frames the face really nicely. Definitely worth the effort. And honestly, the gear from Cloud of Darkness Chaotic is worth the effort alone. So you might as well get the hairstyle at the same time if you're going to be farming this. Definitely worth the effort. Some of the best content I've played in a long time. It's a shame that more people won't get to experience it. Next up in our 7th slot, we have the Early to Rise hairstyle, originally obtained from a resistance supplier in Zadnor for 5 Bosgian gold coins and 30 Bosgian platinum coins. We could get this very rarely to drop from Delibrum Reginae, which is another way of getting this. And quite honestly, the resistance content wasn't too bad. It was an interesting time in the game. It will require a little bit of effort if you're getting it from the actual intended locations. It has this really nice aesthetic going for it with the braid on one side of your character's face, so there's a bit of asymmetry there. It is a short-ish hairstyle. It does look quite windswept. You know, the hair itself is quite spiky in places, so it's not just a flat long hairstyle. The highlight options are not the best that they could be. This does represent an earlier time in the game before they kind of played around with the highlight options, but it is quite nice. There's some subtle variation. It's just a really nice hairstyle. The only downside is I wish the ribbon section on the braid was actually dyeable or changeable in any way, but that is not currently available. Maybe in the future this is something we can experience with the future renditions of a character creation overhaul that supposedly is rumored for 8.0 or beyond. So maybe that'll be an option then. But the hairstyle is nice, it's wavy, and it's one of the more unkempt hairstyles. So if you want to look cool but also have some nice details to your hair, this is a great option in my opinion. Moving on then to our 6th slot, which is the Rainmaker hairstyle. I fell in love with this hairstyle because I love Final Fantasy Type 0. If you've ever played that game, there's a character called Seiss, and Seiss's hairstyle is effectively what they added to Final Fantasy XIV. This was, as far as I know, the only Type 0 hairstyle that was brought over, which is a real shame. It would have been nice to see some of the other characters' longer hairstyles come over. I do remember when I first saw this, people went absolutely nuts. They definitely wanted this, the big spiky ponytail with a nice fringe covering the majority of your left side of your character's face and then pinned back on the right. It's a really well detailed hairstyle, and the highlight options on this are fantastic, allowing for a variety of customization that's very visible as opposed to just small highlights that you might see with some of the other hairstyles. It's a very pretty bob, and if you're not a fan of long hairstyles that clip through collars, this is a great option for a shortish hairstyle that packs a bit of an aesthetic punch. And of course you can get this from the Gold Saucer, only for 5,000 MGP. Originally this was a time limited thing, people protested against this until it was finally just added to the Gold Saucer for permanent purchase, which was probably the best decision they ever made. Bold, layered, eye-catching, it's one of the more fashion-forward MGP options available and fully obtainable in the game, which is obviously a plus. Moving on then outside of the game, for number 5, I'm going to put Fit for a Princess. This, much like the Tale of the Teller hairstyle, is actually from the Neo Dimension Fantasian crossover that they did on the online store. This is a really lovely detailed hairstyle, as of course it should be eye-catching from a monetary background. It has these really nice twin-tailed ponytails at the back, some really interesting highlights on the tips of the hair, and this beautiful headband. Again, there's no customization of the headbands on accessories on hairstyles, but it would be really cool in the future to see that. And we've got these nice curled bangs at the front with a beautiful fringe here with really good highlight options. I do, however, kind of wish that we had a Neo Dimension Fantasian crossover in the game where we could obtain these in the game and maybe had like a quest line or a proper event or something. That would be absolutely fantastic. But at the very least, we did get the hairstyle available. And it is purchasable separately from any outfit, so it does make it slightly cheaper. Sometimes, as we've seen in the past, Square Enix will tie in hairstyles to outfit purchases, but at least this time they are straying away from that, and having the option to buy these things separately if you so wish to is always a great thing. But I really like this hairstyle, even though it is from the store. Okay, moving on to our 4th slot, our in-game accessible Gyrabanian plait. This has a lot of history, so you can actually get this from Heaven on High, obviously introduced during the Stormblood expansion. You can get this from Silver Sacks. It is also very cheap on the market board these days in comparison to a lot of newer hairstyles. It is one of the most recognizable long plait hairstyles in the game, and a lot of people end up using this. This hairstyle pairs beautifully with both Eastern and traditional adventurer glamour. Anything you can throw at it. I've seen so many people with this. It's long, it's luscious, and it is pinned up so you get less clipping. We've got that braid, that asymmetry on the left side of your character's head with a little band around the tip there. The highlight options are lovely, and we've got this big braid tying the hair up instead of using any fabric or a fastener, and it's really cool. It kind of looks like your head has a big fluffy tail. Very cool stuff, and it is one of the better Deep Dungeon rewards. Deep Dungeons always seem to give really good hairstyles, and of course the latest one, Pilgrim's Traverse, is no different, but we'll get to that. Moving on then to our third slot, we've gone for the Battle Ready Bobs. How could I make a list without including 2B's hairstyle? If you're a massive fan of Nier Automata or the Nier series in general like I am, then this is kind of like a must-have to have on a list of ones you actually like. It is of course a representation of 2B. From that series we had a beautiful outfit from the 2B outfit coffer. Everybody uses the 2B bottoms because of, well, obvious reasons, but the hairstyle is really nice. If you want a short hairstyle that's a bob that is iconic and doesn't look bad, this is a great option. And if you want to get this one drops from the Tower at Paradigm's Breach, which is part of the very successful, and I miss it, Your Hard Dark Apocalypse Alliance raid series. Very cool stuff. It is sharp, practical, and no nonsense. It fits perfectly with combat-focused glamours, and if you want to look as cool and stylish as 2B does, then this is a really good option, working on the majority of race and gendered characters. But yeah, if you've ever played Nier, this has got to be on the list, basically. Okay, for our second spot then, I would definitely have to put the Great Lengths hairstyle in here. This is an exceptional reward that you can get from the Gold Saucer, the 30,000 MGP. It's one of the best hairstyles for length in the game. If your character is like mine and you want long hair and you don't really care about clipping, which I don't, and you want it to be longer, but this is the longest we can get. It is physically, as far as I know, the longest hairstyle in the game. Unfortunately, there isn't a variant with a stronger fringe, so you will have a bit of head exposure. That's the only downside of it, but for 30,000 MGP, this is one of the best rewards available in the game for your character if you want long hair. And yeah, long, dramatic, ideal for high fantasy glamours. If you're sitting on MGP, it's not really that much. 30,000 can be obtained very quickly from just a little bit of mini cacpot and half of the fashion report for a week. It is a fantastic pickup, and honestly, we need more long hairstyles in the game. This easily is one of my favorites that they've ever added, and I really hope they continue with this trend and give different variations. Maybe even longer ones. It would be really cool to see hair that goes down to my characters. But again, a lot of people don't like the clipping. If you don't like clipping through armor, you're probably going to hate the Great Lengths. But of course, this is my list, not yours. So of course, you know, obviously you might disagree. And then finally, I've put in the number one spot. Again, these aren't really in any particular order, but it really blew me away when this was added. As we sort of hinted at earlier, Pilgrim's Traverse, which is the latest deep dungeon added in Dawntrail, I've absolutely loved all of the time I've spent in there. I've cleared it multiple times. You can actually get a hairstyle called Simple and Clean, which may or may not be a reference, obviously, to Kingdom Hearts. They need to stop with those because more and more people are asking where Kingdom Hearts 4 is, myself included. Where is it, Square Enix? Where is it? Why was it not at the Summer Games Fest? Why was it not at the Game Awards? Hopefully, for those of you like me who are looking forward to that, hopefully we get some news soon. Anyway, you can get this from Pilgrim's Traverse, from silver, gold, or platinum sacks, which aren't particularly difficult to obtain. Or, of course, you can save up your files of luminous oil from your challenge log. You do need 99 of them, though. Or, of course, you can get this from a market board like many of the others on this list. And quite honestly, it's understated tidy. It's one of the most universally flattering hairstyles in the game. It works across almost every race and face combination. And sometimes simplicity is the best. There's not really too much, you know, outside of the usual here. It is not the longest hairstyle in the game. If we look at the back of the character's head, this only goes just below the shoulder blades of a Makote character, and it's a long, straightened hairstyle. The best thing about this, though, is that, I don't know if you can see this in the previews, but the underside of the hair is what changes color with the highlight option, which was something that blew me away. I don't think this is the first time we've seen this color change effect, but it is definitely the most use of it we've ever seen, where the underside hair is a different color depending on the highlight option you choose, and then the primary color is on the outside. I really like that, and it offers a great contrast, especially if you're going for hints of color to complement a specific glamour set. It really works. It brings out extra shading, which wouldn't normally be possible. This was also a fantastic entry and a winner for the hairstyle design contest. One of the best hairstyles we've got in the game, designed by somebody who entered one of those contests. I say every time, if you want to see a hairstyle in the game, please enter. We need more hairstyles, especially with creative ideas like this. It may be simple, and clean, but it's really effective. I absolutely love it. But yeah, those are my 10 hairstyles that I gravitate back towards. There are a lot of hairstyles that we could have honorable mentions for, but I thought we'd just put together 10 and just talk about this, have a bit of a discussion. What are your favorite 10 hairstyles? Do you have favorites? Is there one that you gravitate towards? Even when a new hairstyle comes out, you wear it for a week and then you go back to a previous hairstyle. What would that be? Anyway, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. More videos on the way, and I really hope we get some goodies in 7.45. Hopefully some new hairstyles from variant mode, and hopefully they're good. Much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.